All right, what's up, YouTube? Let's address the elephant in the room. I am a Pichu. Yep, I transform myself into a Pichu. Sometimes the mouth tracking doesn't work really great. Why am I a Pichu? Really quick, I dressed up as a Pichu virtually for Halloween. Thought it was funny for my stream. They kept asking for me to bring it back, and you know what? This is the way we're gonna bring it back. Hopefully, it brings some light to a not so serious topic, but I just want to remind you guys, whenever I'm talking about anything that isn't directly gameplay Unite related, take my opinion with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, I'm just a dumb guy who plays video games. But let's get started into today's topic. I want to talk about Wild Rift Esports. Maybe you might have heard of this name, maybe not. It's been all the talk on Pokemon Unite Twitter and in some of the communities that I'm in. You might have seen Chris Hero's tweet, Wild Rift just got Heroes of the Stormed. And if you're an outsider, 90% of that sentence means absolutely nothing to you. Might have seen SlashCan, part of the World Championship team for Pokemon Unite, the winning team, reaching out to Wild Rift players if anyone feels lost because of the announcement of the game dying. He is here to help transition to Pokemon Unite that has a flourishing competitive scene. Might have seen Crashy's tweet dismissing everything Slash is saying. I completely disagree with that, but that's not the topic of this video. So what is Wild Rift Esports? If you haven't heard of this name, that's okay. It isn't an incredibly popular game when it comes to the Western market, a lot more popular in the Eastern market. And that's one of the big reasons why they're making a change as of today in this game. What they're announcing is that the North American and the European, the Western scene, the esports of those games, of those regions is going to be canceled, and they're going to be only moving forward with Wild Rift Esports in Asia, which, you know, as a fellow competitive player, you know, I've heard of other professional players transitioning to Wild Rift. It feels bad when a game gets canceled, so my heart goes out to them. I really hope they're able to find a new home. Hopefully they have some other projects that they're passionate about that they can transition to. And just like Slash said, if there's anyone from Wild Rift looking for a new home, Pokemon Unite's a great home, and the community will welcome anyone with open arms. But let's take a look at one of the cinematic trailers that they posted for this game. If you take a look, you know, really epic. You might have seen this type of imagery with other mobile sports or mobile games, mobile apps, but even then, just really, really well produced. It's a Riot game. You might be recognizing some of these characters from League of Legends, which is, we'll get to that and how this game is pretty much based on that game. But, you know, it looks very interesting. This is a cinematic trailer, though. What does the game actually look like when you're playing it? Here's a moment from one of the grand finals that happened in a competitive game last year. You can see they're fighting over this dragon objective. Think of this as Dreadnought. It's a 5 versus 5 competitive battler, very, very similar to Pokemon Unite. Pokemon Unite was based on this genre of games. But if you're looking at this gameplay and you're like, wait, this looks really, really familiar. You know, if you're not too familiar with these games, something seems a little weird, right? And that's because Wild Rift is the mobile version of League of Legends. Now, when I say mobile version, it's important to make a distinction that these are two separate, different games. Wild Rift has its own balance, its own set of balance for its items and the characters that come out in the game, its own limited roster. League of Legends is the game that more people are familiar with. They just had their World Championships. You can see the map layout looks almost identical. They're fighting over the same objective at the same time. This is kind of like Dreadnought or one of the bottom Reggies in our maps in our games. So the games fundamentally for the audience, from a viewing perspective, feel almost identical. The players themselves might be competing in completely different games. They might require different mechanics. There might be a shared skill set, but at the end of the day, they're different games. Unlike Pokemon Unite, which has a Switch and mobile version of the game, our game is cross-platform. We're able to play against each other. Wild Rift and League of Legends, PC versus mobile, or mobile versus PC, these guys can never play against each other. They're playing two completely different games. So what does this mean for Pokemon Unite? How does this tie in? Well, a lot of people are wanting to compare the death of this game or the killing of this game to what the future may look like for Pokemon Unite. I have a bit of a different take on it. I think Pokemon Unite's got a great future. People are also mentioning this game is just like Blizzard's Heroes of the Storm. And I want to talk about Unite, but let me just show you Blizzard's Heroes of the Storm really quick as well. This is HGC. This was the Heroes Global Circuit that was put together around Heroes of the Storm to make this a competitive game. For those of you that don't know, Blizzard or Blizzard Activision had a similar type of 5 versus 5 strategic battler where players come together using characters from different Blizzard universes. Might be familiar with Overwatch, StarCraft, Warcraft, Diablo, all those games, you know, kind of like Smash, come together in this game to participate. And these were some of my friends that competed in this game. You might see Zugrug, Pilutano, my teammates right now. They were professional players in this game. I played this game quite a bit too. I was decently high rated, but definitely not a professional player. And when this game was killed, as you know, we implied at the start of the video, there was a lot of backlash. People were really upset. This is much different. Not only was this killed on a particular version of the game, this was strictly on PC, no console. The game had been out for several years. It had a competitive scene that the developers completely funded with salaries for all of the professional players that were able to make it into the league. They had relegation to be able to provide new teams into the circuit. They had the opportunity for casters to make a living off of this. You can see here, someone mentioned there's over 200 pro plus players who lost their job via the blog post that this game was dying. But this game had its own problems. You know, to be able to afford a salary of 200 professional esports players for just what would be the marketing part of your game, because at the end of the day, for a lot of these game developers, esports is marketing, how they push their game, and it's how they foster a competitive environment for their most dedicated fan base. But at the end of the day, it helps broaden the reach for the game. And it was a model that proved to be not sustainable for a company that definitely could have afforded to keep it alive, because Blizzard's a massive organization, but a company that was facing a lot of downsizing at the time and still is. You know, a lot of their game franchises that were once known as the pioneers of esports, or even gaming as in general, World of Warcraft, Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 following that, StarCraft, were the most original and iconic esports. StarCraft successor, StarCraft 2, most recently Overwatch, and now Overwatch 2. Blizzard has brought a lot of disappointment, unfortunately, to their community, and Heroes of the Storm was a perfect example of that. So how does this all tie into Pokemon Unite? Here's the thing. Pokemon Unite is an opportunity for the Pokemon Company, and this is my opinion. Obviously, none of this is stated as fact, and if the talking Pichu isn't silly enough for you to realize that, you know, I'm purely speculating here. I don't know what else is, but Pokemon Unite is Pokemon's opportunity to enter the esports realm. You know, they've got the mainline games that have the VGC tournaments. They've got the trading card game, which has the TCG tournaments. But neither of those clash with traditional esports that you see 5 versus 5 types of battles on. Whether that be, you know, Search and Destroy in Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Valorant, Dota 2, games we talked about like League of Legends previously, Heroes of the Storm. You know, these types of team-based sports are what makes the bridge for our generation to have a competitive thing to root for, where you might have seen with traditional sports like basketball, football, soccer, whatever it might be. These team-based sports are a way to get people rallied together around a particular game, and Pokemon Unite is Pokemon's only venture into that. It's also one of the few games that they offer that's free to play. And if you go to Pokemon.com, straight at the homepage, you can see that Pokemon Unite's featured up top. You go to the video games section, and you see Pokemon Unite's got Sableye or any new character that comes out featured. It's one of the featured games down here. It's not put in this bucket of check out our other Pokemon apps. You know, it's got its dedicated landing page built into the Pokemon.com website. And you can see that this is a venture that Pokemon is taking very seriously. At least that's the impression that I get. They want this game to be able to be what League of Legends is for the League of Legends community, or what Dota is for the Dota community. A way for people to come together, enjoy a game, a team-based game, and one of the only games where you get to actually be a Pokemon playing against other people that are Pokemon. You know, if we strip away the whole MOBA kind of aspect of this game, and at its core, you know, you just try to tell your younger self that, you know, one day you'll get to be Charizard, you'll seismic toss someone into the air, and an enemy player Snorlax is halfway across the world, and all this will come together in a 5 versus 5 battle. Like, that to me would be a dream come true. And it still kind of is. I'm a big fan of Pokemon Unite. I'll advocate it till the day it gets canceled, if it does, but that's what I'm here to say. I don't think Pokemon Unite is going anywhere. I think we've got a healthy future ahead of us. I think some of the leaks suggesting that draft is coming soon are very, very important signs that they want to take the competitive nature of the game seriously. Does that mean that I think they're doing the absolute best that they could be doing in Pokemon? Absolutely not. I think there's a big room for improvement, whether it's quality of life, whether it's performance, whether it's matchmaking, the competitive balance of the game, whatever it might be. I think every single aspect can be improved on, but I also want to give them credit where credit is due. Get constant new releases. The game is constantly being updated. You know, quality of life improvements do come. Even if they're slow, we do get them. The emblem system is slowly improving and not as janky as it was when it first came out. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the game. I want to continue making content for the game. I want to continue educating people on the game, and I want to continue enjoying the game. But let me know what you think. Have you played any of these games? Have you played any other games that have been canceled? What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about Pokemon Unite? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We're almost at 20K. Hold on. Wait, we're going to do this together right now, guys, live. Your channel. We're at 19.6. We need about 400 more. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It should be somewhere here. And otherwise, this picture right here, he'll haunt you.